What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. In today's episode, we've got to get something done that I've been meaning to get done for quite some time now, and that's mulch the garlic. So like I said, today I gotta mulch my garlic. This is long overdue, but it's definitely something that doesn't have to be done right away. Garlic is not a really finicky crop, but it can have better results if you do mulch it. A lot of people ask me, what do I like to mulch my garlic with? And for a long time, I mulched it with straw, but I found that straw had a lot of weed seeds. I didn't love that because the more I have to weed in the spring, the more work I have to do and the less enjoyment I get out of my garden. And so a couple years ago, I stumbled across animal bedding. Now, animal bedding can be cedar or it can be pine, and it's usually just shaved wood. And a lot of times, you can get a big bale of it for $3 to $5, and it goes a long way. Now, the really nice thing about using animal bedding for mulch is the fact that it's really lightweight. It actually traps a lot of air. That's why it works so well for animal bedding. If you have chickens or rabbits or other animals, but primarily chickens and rabbits use shavings, wood shavings. The really nice thing is if you have your animals outside, the shavings trap a lot of air, and air is a wonderful insulator. And so because they're so fluffy and kind of chippy, they hold so much air in there, and it acts as a wonderful insulator for your garlic as well. Now, the other really nice thing is the fact that that there's no weed seeds. So this is going to go onto your garden, and you can pretty much leave it here, guaranteed that it's never going to sprout any, oats or grass or other kind of like farrow weeds and stuff that you don't want, any noxious weeds. But the other thing too is that it's accessible. I know a lot of people don't have access to straw. People ask me all the time, Luke, I'm in the city. Where do you expect me to get straw? And the answer is, well, you can go to like a hardware store, but not all the time are they going to have them. Usually seasonally, like around Halloween, Thanksgiving time, they might have some straw bales, but other than that, they really don't have them. Animal bedding, you can pretty much find it just about anywhere. In fact, we get ours at Tractor Supply. So shameless plug to Tractor Supply, not a sponsor of this episode. However, if you do want to sponsor us, let me know. Always going to Tractor Supply for things, but I do love these bales. I picked up this bale here. I picked it up for, I think, like $5 or so for this whole bale, and we'll only use about half this bale on this bed. Maybe not even that. It goes a long way. So that's why I love this. This is my favorite mulch for garlic. I also, side note, one more thing that I really love about it is I love that because it's so kind of small, it's not big and bulky, the garlic can actually poke through it really easily in springtime. The one thing you have to be mindful of is people ask me if you can use things like leaf mulch. And you definitely can. However, you want to wait until the plants start to actually sprout before you mulch with leaf mulch, because if you mulch with leaf mulch before the plants sprout, a lot of times that dense layer of leaves can actually smother out the new growth. Now, regardless of what you use, mulching your garlic is really important because garlic, it is an early spring crop, the sooner you can get it growing in the spring, the healthier and faster it's going to grow and the bigger your garlic is going to be. Garlic is one of the first things to break dormancy, and so if your soil is still frozen, it can't really break dormancy that well. And so what we like to do is mulch our garlic, not so much to protect it through winter. That's a benefit. It's going to protect it a little bit throughout winter. Like I said, it's pretty cold hardy, so you don't have to worry too much about it. I mean, I've just dropped garlic on the ground and it's pretty much stayed alive, just exposed to air. But making sure no one was going to drop a bomb on me there. A low-flying plane. What was I talking about? So yes, you don't have to protect it as much throughout the winter as much as you do just helping it get out of dormancy in the spring. The mulch is going to help to kind of keep the soil temperatures a little bit warmer, and so even if the soil does freeze, it's not going to freeze as deep, so it'll take much less time to thaw out. A really common question you all ask is, how deep should I go with my mulch? And depending on what you're mulching with, you want to make sure that you mulch between 2 and 5 inches. With something really efficient like these pine shavings here, you can mulch like 2 or 3 inches. Now granted, you do have to kind of account for some settling. So, you know, right now it's very fluffy. It's probably like 3 or 4 inches deep in some of the deeper spots here. But once it compresses down a little bit, once it settles, you're looking at about 2 inches. I'll tell you what, guys, we're having some warm weather coming up soon. It's kind of become a little bit concerning, if I'm being honest, because I don't recall many years where the weather is going to be in the 50s this close to Christmas. I think, well, today's Thursday. I think I saw it was supposed to be 51 on Saturday and 53 on Sunday. It's unbelievable. I mean, yeah, we have a little bit of snow on the ground right now, but don't be surprised if you start to see stuff actually growing in our garden. It's going to be crazy. But the nice thing is, obviously, it's just kind of a trend, it's kind of just a warming pattern. It's going to cool back down, but it will allow me to get out in the garden, not only film some more content for all of you, but it'll also allow me to finish up these chores I got to get done. I got to clean out all the tomatoes, got to pull out all the stakes, the trellises. I got to clean up any dead plants. Just want to get the garden ready for spring, make it look pretty. Alrighty, just wrapping up here. Now, I only planted about 60% of this bed, so I don't need to mulch the entire bed. This portion here that's mulched is the only part of the bed that has garlic in it. So yeah, I think that's just about it. We are all done. Super simple, quick little chore there, but one that I know a lot of you request, a lot of you want to learn more about, and one that I had to do, so I figured why not bring you guys along for it. So there you go. It is that simple to mulch your garlic with pine shavings. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys will check them out. Again, I got these at Tractor Supply. Tractor Supply, if you're watching, call me. We're looking for sponsors for the next year. We only have 3 sponsor slots that we ever have available, and I would be honored to have a spot with Tractor Supply, even if it meant just trading for some free stuff, because I know that I go there a lot, and I probably keep their lights on. So. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. If you do have any more questions, feel free to post them in the comments box below. And I do know that there's going to be one more question, and that's just the difference of using cedar shavings versus pine shavings. It does come up almost every year that we do this. You know, what if I have cedar shavings? Would those be better than pine? And I would say this much: cedar versus pine are kind of interchangeable with a few slight differences. One being that cedar does take a while longer to break down than pine does. So if you do use cedar chips on your bed over pine, you might have to remove them in the spring. Reason being is that because they last longer, they take a lot longer to break down, you don't want to turn the shavings into the soil. Regardless if they're pine or cedar, no matter what, if it's not completely broken down, you don't want to turn it into the soil. The reason being is it's going to take nitrogen. It's going to rob nitrogen from your soil. And since you don't want to have nitrogen deficiencies, you want to make sure that you don't turn it into the soil. And since pine breaks down so much faster, it's not a concern with pine. You know, prime example, I had garlic planted in this bed last year. I had about 3 to 4 inches of pine mulch on this bed, and you can't even tell that it was mulched with pine shavings. That's because it's completely broken down over the course of about 1.5 years. Because it's completely broken down, it's not going to rob any nitrogen from the soil, and I can turn this, I can flip it, I can agitate it without risking turning those shavings into the soil. So come spring, if you're using cedar shavings, you may have to just kind of rake them free. After you harvest your garlic, when you're ready to plant something or re-amend and turn the soil over, things like that. I don't always advocate aggressively tilling your soil. I think it's best to kind of go more of a no-till approach. However, if you do end up agitating your soil or just, working it in some way, you may have to rake the cedar chips and throw them in your compost pile or, just get them out of your beds so that you don't turn them in. That's one reason. And then the second reason why I kind of just prefer pine over cedar is because if you have access to both, if you have access to pine and cedar shavings, generally pine is going to be cheaper than cedar shavings. It's just pine is a cheaper wood, it's more accessible, it's more universal, and so it's usually just more inexpensive. A lot of people use, like I said, pine shavings for animal bedding. I don't know many people that use cedar shavings for animal bedding. I mean, there might be, but it's such a universal thing that people use on their homesteads and in their gardens that it's really inexpensive. And so cost savings, I wouldn't spend more for the same quality or same type of protection that I'm gonna get from pine shavings. So, you know, like I said, it's pretty interchangeable. If you've got it on hand, I wouldn't recommend going and buying pine. I'd just use it, but just take some of those steps into consideration that, you know, it is gonna take a little while to break down. You may have to rake it off in the spring. Just kind of keep those things in mind. But other than that, super easy, simple episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you all will mulch your garlic with whatever you have. Just make sure it's mulched. You'll definitely like the results you're gonna get from it. And as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow big or go home, and we'll catch you all later. See ya.